you. Dr. Meink, I want to return to Senator Fisher's line of questioning about nuclear modernization. The Air Force is responsible for 2 of the 3 legs of the nuclear triad, as she said. Sometimes the funding for that, which is known as the pass-through, counts against, you might say, the top line for the Air Force in internal budget battles. I personally worry the Air Force can't execute all of its tasks when it comes to its traditional conventional tasks while also executing nuclear modernization of our missiles and our long-range bombers. Do you agree that we need to take a new look at the top line for the Air Force, and especially to account for that nuclear pass-through to ensure the Air Force has the budget necessary to perform all of its vital tasks?
Yes, Senator, thank you for the question, and thanks for the opportunity to talk a little bit offline. The Air Force is kind of in a unique position almost in its history. We're in the process of modernizing pretty much across all the 5 core mission areas. The nuclear triad, nuclear deterrence is a huge part of that. As you just kind of mentioned, those systems are pretty expensive. One of the first things I plan to do is take a holistic look at all of the modernization and all the readiness bills that we have coming, and then I will put together and advocate for what resources I think are necessary to execute all of those missions, and then working both within administration and with Congress, which I've found throughout my time working in national security, a good relationship with Congress is critical. So if confirmed, I'll be back here walking through what I think we need to do.
Thank you. And I'm sure in the internal budget battles, you remind everyone it's not just my top line. I've got this big slug of nuclear modernization here as well.
Yes, Senator, there's a couple slugs in there that.
Okay, thank you. Another thing that worries me is retaining our troops, especially in the Air Force, retaining fighter pilots. We're nearly 1,800 pilots short, I believe, these days. For every 4 jobs requiring a fighter pilot, we just filled 3 of them. I have my thoughts on some of the factors driving this, in part due to some roundtables that Senator King and I have held over the years with pilots. For instance, I think we can always probably do a little bit better job of paying our pilots, but I don't think you're ever going to pay them enough compared to what commercial airlines will pay them or private companies. People join the Air Force to fly fighter pilots because they want to fly high-performance jets in defense of our nation, and we need to do a better job of getting them more time in the cockpit training here and downrange. I think it's one big factor. There are other factors as well, but could you give me your thoughts on that, and also just a commitment that you're going to look carefully at that?
Yeah, I'll commit. I'm going to look carefully at that. And Senator, I think your discussion about, I see that as kind of a quality of service, quality of life, pay, that only goes so far. We need to make sure, not just with pilots, but across our highly skilled areas within our workforce, that they have the opportunity to do what they've been trained, what they love to do. I think that could be a bigger impact on maintaining some of these highly technical skill sets like pilots and others, letting them do what they were trained to do. I've been around since I was a navigator. We've always struggled with maintaining pilot levels. It is much larger than just the funding. And Senator, not to necessarily ask something of you, but if you have other opinions, if I'm confirmed, I'd love to sit down and talk to you about it.
And thank you. Just one more question for you, Dr. Meink. Ebbing Air National Guard Base in Fort Smith is now the home of the International Fighter Training Mission for the F-35. It's going to grow from 4 aircraft today to 48 fighter aircraft in the next 3 years. That's twice as fast as the normal bed down for standard F-35 mission. The Air Force has worked well with our state and local partners and Senator Bozeman's office, Congressman Womack's office, and mine. Can I get your commitment that we'll continue to work well as we go through this very fast, but so far very successful bed down to ensure that Ebbing has the resources it needs?
Absolutely, Senator.
Okay. Mr. Bass, first off, I want to apologize that I missed our meeting yesterday. I hate to stand up a wonder boy from Arkansas Tech University, right across the river from Dardanelle, Arkansas, but glad to see you today, and congratulations on your nomination. I continue to hear that the MHS Genesis program is causing problems for recruiting and converting recruits into new troopers, not just airmen, but soldiers, sailors, Marines, and so forth. Obviously, we want to work efficiently with medical records, and we don't want to bring in people who are going to be washed out because of serious medical conditions 6 months after basic training. But we've discovered a lot of things. I think in past days, let's just be honest, your recruiter would have told you to lie about at MEPS when you went there. You know, that you had a broken arm when you played junior high football and then went on to play 4 more years of senior high football, and it gets recorded now, and you have to go through a bunch of rigmarole. In the meantime, you get a better job doing something else. Can you take a look at how Genesis is operating to make sure that we catch the serious problems we need to without deterring and delaying young men and women who are eager to sign up and serve in our military?
Thank you, Senator. Go Razorbacks. And I will commit to taking a look at the accession standards. You know, a good problem to have is that we have too much information in our medical health record. You know, we'll take that, but we also need to take a look at our accession policies, and I commit to working that and working with your office.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.